Ferguson, Missouri is about 12 hours away from Baltimore, about an 800-mile drive.
But the same outrage surrounding Michael Brown's death followed a similar shooting right here in Baltimore about 15 years ago. ABC 2 News' Jeff Hager shows us that story. Jeff?
Well, Jamie, longtime Baltimoreans will remember the Larry Hubbard case, an unarmed 21-year-old who police shot and killed after he ran from a stolen car. A shot rang out on Barclay Street in East Baltimore in October of 1999.
He shot him.
An officer said he shot Larry Hubbard, an unarmed man suspected of stealing a car, after he tried to wrestle a gun away from his partner.
I know he wasn't an angel, but he also didn't have to, die like that.
Witnesses said police beat Hubbard, kicked him, and then shot him in the back of the head, execution style.
We would not tolerate people who we pay to protect us to be people who execute us.
Tell the truth and stop the lies. Larry Hubbard didn't have to die.
High-powered attorney Johnny Cochran, who had represented O.J. Simpson a few years earlier,
we all set.
Joined a high-profile legal team, including William Billy Murphy. And a grand jury refused to indict the officer in the days that followed.
I think the man was shot in the back of the head for little to no reason. And unfortunately, nobody was brought to justice. There was a civil suit, but there was no criminal prosecution. And that's what people are afraid is going to happen in Missouri, because it happens a lot. There are elements in prosecutors' offices who believe in protecting the police at all costs.
Much like the Brown case, the Hubbard shooting pointed to a cultural divide between a depressed African-American community and the cops sworn to protect it. And Murphy says it could happen again today because of that disconnect.
There is an entrenched militaristic attitude by the police, and many of the police come from outside of the community and have no stake in what really goes on here. They go home to the county or to another state even when it comes to Baltimore. And so you don't have this investment in the community.
While the rioting we're seeing in Missouri didn't happen here in Baltimore following the Hubbard shooting, Murphy says there was a similar lack of trust surrounding the investigation. And he proposes using technology, small cameras that could be attached to officers' uniforms to help restore that confidence in the future.
People's prejudices come in to play when you have swearing contests. People who are pro-police are going to side with the police. People who are anti-police are going to side with the citizens. That's not going to lead to justice when we have a way of proving these things beyond any reasonable doubt, and that's just putting a video camera on a policeman's lapel, save us all a lot of time, money, trouble, adjudication, because we'll have the truth right there on camera.
The FBI and the U.S. Justice Department also conducted investigations of the Hubbard shooting but produced no charges. The victim's family ultimately filed a $60 million wrongful death suit against the city, and Murphy says they ultimately received a settlement of about $500,000. Jeff Hager, ABC 2 News.